Hi, sewing friends. I am fresh out of a crazy jam-packed summer full of teaching children how to sew. I taught 7 kids camps this year. This is my 4th year teaching kids camps. I've always taught at least 2 or 3. This year it was 7. My class sizes ranged from 3 kids to 12 kids, all together totaling 51 individual children. A couple of those kids took it more than once, so 54 students altogether, and it was a lot. It was a lot. I had a really great time. I really enjoy teaching kids. I think they learn much faster than grown-ups, much easier than grown-ups, and it's kind of an easier process a lot of the time, but there's still some difficulties with teaching small children how to sew. So I wanted to share some of my tips and tricks of how to teach kids how to sew, so that way they still enjoy themselves while making a project. So before we continue, if it's your first time on the channel, most of my videos include a written version. So if you check out the description box down below, there is a full blog to accompany this video, just in case video is not your favorite format. I do have a written version, so go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, let's just jump right into it. So, my first rule with teaching small children how to sew, and this is one of the most important ones to me, is to just let them do it. Let them do the project. Let them sew it. Let them cut it out. Let them pin it. Let them iron it. Let them make mistakes. It's okay. It's just fabric. Okay? So in my classroom, the kids pin everything down. They cut everything out themselves. They pin each step. They thread the machine themselves. They use the irons themselves. They do their whole project. Obviously, I'm still there. I'm hands-on. I'm there to help them at any point in time that they need it, but I let them do the project. And the youngest I teach is 8, and it's 8 to 17 age range. And sometimes the iron is scary. Sometimes they're like, I don't want to do this. Sometimes they tell me that their mom told them that they were not allowed to use the iron. Something mom failed to tell me because it wasn't real. But I make them try it at least once. I make them give it a go. Even if it's just like, okay, yep, I ironed it. Yep, I'm good. Perfect. You gave it a try. You have now asked me for help. That is much better than me just ironing everything for them, me cutting everything out for them. I give them real adult scissors and everything. So they learn so much more if you let them do it and let them make mistakes along the way. Okay? Second part of that is my second most important rule for this class, and I get the most pushback on this one. This is where I get a lot of pushback from the grown-ups, and I get it, but I have very few rules in my classroom. I'm actually rather loose with the rules. I'm not super strict because I believe all of the strict rules need to only be about safety. I have a large class. Last year I taught 15 kids at one point. It was a lot. Um, it's really hard to wrangle everybody. And, if you're really strict with every little detail, that means the kids are overstimulated with really strict rules. So when the strict rules only apply to safety, they take them a lot more seriously. And I actually do a whole thing on the first day of, hey, rules are only for your safety. It's really important we follow them. I'm going to be talking to you like this most of the time, but the moment my voice gets like this, that means you're doing something you're not supposed to. They usually get very scared, and they know, like, oh, this is where we're talking about safety. We're not messing around. Everything else is fine. And anytime I have to kind of like chime in, like, hey, please stop doing that. Stop spinning in your desk chair. They're like, well, I'm bored. Like, I know. Let me help you with your project. If you spin in the chair, you can knock into the person next to you and they're cutting something. They're going to get hurt. So framing everything as like, hey, this is why we're being strict. It's for safety. There's dangerous things in this room. Usually really understanding. My top safety rules, and there's some exceptions. I have to implement weird rules with a extra wild and crazy class, but for the most part, my strict rules are to one, never put your finger underneath the needle or above that needle plate. So that little hole, I'll even pop this off. So, oh, can we focus? Yeah, that hole right there where the needle, stop looking at me. There you go. That hole where the needle goes down is the danger zone. So I teach the kids that that is where the needle goes down into the bottom of the machine and interacts with the bobbin. They are never, ever, ever to put their finger above that hole. They understand that this is a danger area. They get it. They are very terrified of sewing their finger. I let them know they can touch everywhere else, just not right here, that this is the danger zone. No one has sewn a finger yet. So, second thing is not to put pins in your mouth. This is a rule that the kids are grossed out by. They think, like, ew, why would you put a pin in your mouth? And then all I have to do is tell them how dangerous it is if you accidentally swallow a pin, and they are begging me to end the conversation, and they promise that they will not put pins in their mouth. Adults break this rule all the time, but the kids never have. So, no pins in your mouth. We put pins in the pin cushion into our fabric. That is it. No pins in the mouth. Third one is we do not play with scissors. And for that, I have my very lovely giant scissors that I use to demonstrate how to safely use scissors in class. We do not do this. We do not do this. We do not pretend that we're going to cut our hair. We do not pretend to cut our clothes. We do not leave them open on the table. We do not do that wonderful game where you put your hand there and see if you can pull it out before the scissors close. When we hand scissors to people, we always hand them like this, not like this. You never walk with scissors like this. You always walk with them facing down. And you never run with scissors. You also just never run in the sewing room to begin with. I got these scissors at the Halloween store years ago on clearance. They live up on my wall, but the kids love these. And even though I'm using my big scary voice of how to not use scissors irresponsibly, this puts a little jokingness into it and lightens the mood. Kids really enjoy it. And this is them being not real scissors makes it where I can say, don't do this. I do not ever have a smart aleck kid going, well, you did it. You broke the rules. These aren't real. So I didn't. So, props are really handy and help us go over all the rules. When we use the iron, I have a really strict rule that the ironing stations are for ironing only. You are not to be there if you are not using the iron, and you are not to speak to anyone if they are using the iron. I have all my ironing stations facing a wall, so that way the student is facing away from the class, not facing the class by any means, so that way they are not distracted. And then before I even plug them in, I hold one up and I go over, this is the shiny hot metal plate, this is the handle, don't grab it by the plate, always grab it by the handle, don't leave the iron sitting down. Always stand it up before you walk away. You should always be facing your project. Do not be ironing like this. Always be looking at what you're doing. You are not to talk to anyone using the iron. Person using the iron is not to turn around and talk to anyone else. And I even say, I've had a kid once that I came over to tell them what to do next after they were done ironing, and they turned to me and they went, "Miss Ocean, I'm using the iron right now. You're not supposed to talk to people using the iron. I need you to go away." And I went, "You're right. I am sorry. I will talk to you when you are done ironing." And it lets them know the seriousness of the situation and lets them know, like, hey, even if I do it, you should correct me because this is a very big safety thing. I have not had any kids burn themselves with the iron when they were using the iron on their own. I have had 2 kids burn themselves while their grown-up was there and watching them. Their grown-up was standing over them using the iron and they burned themselves. One kid just barely touched herself with the tip of the iron. That's normal, that's not a big deal. The other kid had the entire side of the iron touch her arm. And that's why I have a very strict no grown-ups rule, because the grown-ups like to hover and it does not make it better. So do not distract people at the irons. The kids are really scared of hurting themselves. Not had any problems with it because of that. With each of my safety rules, the kids get 1 warning. That's it. And I let them know they will only be getting 1 warning. I do not do a, hey, I'm reminding you again. It is 1 warning and then you lose privileges. And I really like to emphasize that you lose privileges, not that you are in trouble. I am trusting you to use the scissors. If you cannot use them correctly, I will take them away and you do not get to cut out your project. I am trusting you to use the iron. If you are messing around, I cannot trust you. You don't get to iron your project. And then they have to wait for me to do it, and they don't want to do that because they see how busy I am teaching everyone else, and they take it very seriously. And the warning is always in the big scary voice. The kids know it as my big scary big sister voice because I am a big sister. I've told them that. And I've had to use it once or twice, and I've given someone a warning of, this is your one and only warning. We will lose that privilege. The kids are scared and they whisper to each other like, oh crap, someone got in trouble. Don't make her use that voice again. They want to do their projects. So 1 warning rule works great for the classroom. Less serious rules, just more tips for it. Have them practice on paper first. So I have printed out shapes, straight lines, corners, circles, all of the things. Kids sew on paper, way less high stakes. If they mess it up, I just give them a new one. No one ever knows. It's great. It's a really easy way for them to see what they're doing right or wrong, and not mess up their project before they even start. If you are at a loss as to what to have them sew out, I have a free download on my website of some practice sewing pages that I use for the kids, and how to use them. So check that one out. For their projects, add extra seam allowance. Add tons of seam allowance. My projects are designed to have a 1/2 inch seam allowance, but I add like 3 inches extra because sometimes those kids just veer off in one direction. It's okay. If you add extra into it, you don't have to worry about them being really accurate because the accuracy is built into it. So makes it much easier, much less stress for everyone. And on that same note, use a seam allowance guide. So they make these little bumpers. It's a magnetic seam allowance guide that you can snap on. It's going to be very strong here. To where you want it. And then the kids just bump their fabric up against the bumper. It's a lifesaver. We put them on. I tell the kids, like, you all need a bumper to bump your fabric up against and help it keep it straight. It works perfect. It is fantastic. Sometimes we still get off track. That's okay. This helps them understand the concept of seam allowance. And if kids are getting really off track, I find that if you just help them set up at the beginning, they can still sew the straight line. You just have to make sure they start off with their fabric coming off in the right direction and everything. On that same note, straight lines, straight line projects. No curves, no pant curves, no necklines, nothing complicated yet. Start with straight lines. Think beginner projects. Beginner projects are straight lines and can be done in a day by someone who's been sewing a long time. Beginners sometimes take longer than a day. That's okay. Straight lines, corners, that's about it. The kids have a hard time visualizing that straight line. Don't make them do a curve as well. Fun projects. Pick fun projects. I do projects that the kids can leave and use right away. We've done messenger bags, drawstring backpacks, lunch bags. This summer we did cuddle monsters, and they were the biggest hit. My repeat kids said they will do it again next year. They usually want me to come up with a new project for the next summer. They don't care. They will do cuddle monsters every year. They think they're great. They plan on making them different each time. They were just rectangles, straight lines still, but they absolutely loved them. And it's something they can leave with and show their friends and enjoy right off the bat. They don't want placemats or table runners or coasters or things that are like household goods. They want like practical, fun stuff. So give them a fun thing and they'll love the hobby even more. On the topic of fun bandaids, lifesavers. Even if you can't see the blood, if they want a band-aid, put a band-aid on it. Pins, needles, irons, scissors, everything is a big, scary, sharp, dangerous thing. If they hurt themselves, just put a band-aid on it. If that will make them feel better, great. I have fun band-aids. I have glow-in-the-dark ones, jellyfish ones, little animals. I'll put a band-aid on everything. Second part of this is if you make it a thing, like I make the kids wash their hands, we spray it with Bactine, and then we put a band-aid on it. In that process, I am also teaching them how to care for their injuries. So that way, if they hurt themselves more severely while sewing later on, they know how to take care of it, and they're not going to get an infected hand or have something serious happen. So it makes them feel better, and it's teaching them good habits from the beginning. Last one, let them ask you for help. Don't jump in, don't hover. Have confidence in them, instill that they can do this. Last year, I was not as strict with my grown-ups rule. I've learned my lesson. Grown-ups it is a drop-off class only. Grown-ups hover. It's a problem. One grown-up saw a kid not related to them in my classroom, not sewing a very straight line, and came over to me and said I needed to check on that kid because their project wasn't going to turn out great. I knew I had added plenty of extra seam allowance. The project was going to be fine, whether they sewed it straight or not. It was fine. The reason why I didn't want to jump in was every time I told this kid that they got to use the sewing machine, she would, yes, I get to sew now. And she was thrilled. She was so excited to use the sewing machine. I was not about to be like, actually, you're not doing a very good job. Let's work on that. No, she needed to enjoy the process. I helped straighten her out here and there, but I just let her do it. When she was done with that first project, she came to me and asked, hey, I think I'm not doing a very good job. I think I need help sewing a straighter line. Could you help me with that? I did. From that point forward, everything was perfectly straight. I showed her how to line up, showed her if she was holding her fabric like this, it was going to sew like this. She needed to hold it like this, it would sew straight. Perfection. Everything else turned out great. She stayed really excited. She was really happy. She still learned. She got there on her own. She came back this year and she was still that excited. She still loved sewing. And if I had corrected her and told her she wasn't doing a good job over and over, she would not have come back. She would have left feeling defeated. Her grown ups bought her a sewing machine. She is doing great. Let them ask for help. If you see them getting emotional and downtrodden, yes, chime in. But otherwise, if they're super excited, just let them stay excited. You can even secretly fix part of the project later if you need to, but just let them stay excited. Let them enjoy the process. It is fabric. There's plenty of fabric. You can just always try again. And emphasize that to them. Okay? Last one that I know I just said the other one was the last one, but on that same note, really, have fun. Enjoy teaching a kid to sew. Enjoy teaching kids camps. It's really great. I super love teaching kids how to sew. I do it every summer. I'm exhausted at the end of every summer and I am questioning why I do it, but it is because I really love it. I love seeing them, like seeing it click in their brains and then seeing what they make with stuff. Like that one girl made a bunch of pillowcases over the year. I have a girl that signs up every year. She has signed up 4 years in a row, twice a summer, every summer with me. And she's made all kinds of stuff. And this year she got to do zippers and buttonholes and buttons and just amazing things. So have fun. You know, that's why my strict rules are only for safety. It should be a fun, enjoyable process. And this is a really great hobby that we should totally be teaching kids how to do. I learned at like 5. I'm still sewing all of these years later. Let them enjoy it. Have fun enjoy sewing with them. Yeah, that's it. I hope this was helpful. I don't know. This is a video I've wanted to make forever, a blog I wanted to make forever, and I've just not gotten around to it. So finally got around to filming it. I'm gonna go to bed now, get some sleep before going back to my regular job tomorrow. But I hope you found it useful. If you have tips or tricks for teaching kids to sew, please drop them down below. If you have questions for me about like what kind of projects I do or anything else, also drop it down below. Yeah, just say hi, comment down below, subscribe. I am, now that summer's over, I have another video in a couple more days from this one launching. Actually getting around to editing a bunch of stuff and getting a lot more content pushed out. So please subscribe, like this video, comment, yada yada yada, follow me on social media. And I think that's gonna be it. So pleasant seams, everybody.